Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram,
Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram
Ram,
Ram Hare
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 Hare.
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram
Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Hare
Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 waiting
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare.
That the names, I heard more of Mataji's than Prabhuji, so that's also nice. So it's always nice to see more of the women, hearing, which is actually more important, because as we all know, in the Vedic culture, that women are normally the pillar of any home. So if the women are spiritually strong, then the whole family becomes very spiritually strong. So I thank you for allowing me to serve. And before we start, I would like to recite the Prem Dani praise that we all can call in response. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parigvaracharya Stotra Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Amacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Ki jai.
Unfounder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai ho.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai ho.
Gaura Premanande Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare
Krishna. Assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Jai Shri Guru, Jai Shri Gauranga, Jai Shri Guru
Jai.
Ki Jai.
I was we will be and speaking about chapter 4 verse 19. Thank you, dear Krishna Prabhu, for sharing the verse with me. As I was reading the verses, I will, if at all possible, if Krishna will allow it, I would like to cover at least 2 to 3 verses, because they are very much interconnected. So Prabhu, you can go back to the screen before and we can say the Mangalacharana prayers. I just realized that I missed it. I apologize. And we all can sing this together, and that way we all get a collective benefit of it. Om Aganyatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manom Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamati Swapitantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tasajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasaya Gana Lalita Shri Vikastatam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Dinabandhu
Gopesha Gopika
Kanta
Radha Kanta Namastute Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Anamami Hari Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shridhar Sadi Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
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 Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhus. Again, thank you for all of you for joining us on this wonderful Friday evening. It's always nice to hear something Krishna conscious. It's the end of the work week. Friday being the end of the work week, not the end of the week. And it's always nice to revive our 5 days of exotic work with hearing the glories of the Lord. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 19. And because we are at the comfort of our homes, I hope everyone has a paper and a pen, or a notebook and a pen. It's very, very important that we make notes as we hear glories of the Lord, of his personalities, of the Vedas, because whatever hits us while we're hearing any katha, any lecture, it's always good to write it down and go back and reflect on what we have written, and even ask questions on that, because our minds are not super intelligent or intelligent like Krishna. So it's very important that we make notes. So I hope that we all have a pen and a book or something that we can make notes on. So because I'm trying to see if I can finish 2 or 3 verses, if that's okay with you there, Krishna Prabhu, that I just read the verse without any call and response. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. No
Okay,
problem.
thank you. So I will read the Sanskrit, and then we will go into the English. Yasya sarve sara samarambha kama sankalpa varechita jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. Translation: one is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. If I can have, Subrat, if you can read that purport for me, please.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratifying propensities, it is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perception of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work.
Thank you, Suvrat. So what Prabhupada is telling us here, and it's very simple. He said in 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 lines, what Sri Prabhupada is actually saying is, those who are in the knowledge of sense gratification is devoid of the real knowledge, plain and simple. So what Sri Prabhupada is saying is, the more knowledge that we have of sense gratification, the more knowledge that we know of anything that is gratifying our senses, they are the ones who are devoid of the real knowledge. And if we look at what Prabhupada is saying, if we ask ourselves, what is the knowledge? What knowledge are we trying to do? Why do we come to Friday evenings, whether it be Zoom right now, but it's been in person? Why do we come together? Can anyone just give me an answer? Why do we come together on Friday evenings?
To glorify Krishna.
Absolutely, to glorify the Lord. And how do we glorify the Lord? How do we knowledge to glorify the Lord?
By doing satsanga?
By satsanga, exactly, by sadhu sangha. We learn knowledge by glorifying the Lord. And how do we do that? By coming together. Very good example is when we go to school. Why do we go to school? Why do we go to college? because we want to get an education. Now, can we get an education on our own in our house without a teacher? The answer is no. We all know that in order to graduate from school, in order to, do anything with education, we need a teacher. And when we have a teacher, we go to the classroom. And in the classroom, there are students. It's just not the teacher, one person, and the student, just one student. That's not the case. We come in a classroom of students. It's kind of like an academic sadhu sangha, lack of a better word. Academic sangha, right? We come to the classroom and we actually see and we learn from our classmates. We exchange notes. We we do group schoolwork projects together with our classmates. Why? Because we learn from each other. In that exact same mode, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we come together to glorify the Lord by sadhu sangha, by learning from each other. That is the knowledge. And the knowledge is always, I want to know God. I want to see God. But where do we go to see God? Prabhupada gives a very good example. He says that if we want to buy gold, we go to a jewelry shop. We don't go to Walmart. We don't go to Giant. We don't go to the grocery store. We don't even go to the farmer's market to buy gold. We go to a jewelry shop. And if you and even if we try to go get gold from Walmart, although there is a small jewelry in there, the gold is definitely, half of it is gold plated. It's not even 22 karat or 24 carats or whatever you want to call it. It's not real gold, it's gold plated. So if you go and ask the person, I want a 22 karat, 3-pound chain or whatever, they're going to say, you know what, this lady is so dumb. Why is she coming to Walmart and getting gold when she knows that we don't have pure gold? So we will get tricked and we will be sold a cheap gold. So Srila Prabhupada is saying only the one who is not intelligent will go to the wrong place and ask, show me God. I want to see God. I want to learn more about God. So what Srila Prabhupada is telling us is, if we want to know who is Krishna, if we want to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have to go to the right source, not to any source. That is the main point. And that is the reason why we come together at Berks Bhakti Yoga every Friday evening to read. We are coming to the right source, which is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're coming to him through his followers who are strictly following what Srila Prabhupada has brought to the West. And he has said, you want to see God? I will show you God, no problem. So we are coming to the right source. So what we have to do is we have to learn to listen. Another example Prabhupada gave, and I think it's in one of the Abhay Charan series. I'm sure that kids have watched this part, where when Prabhupada was giving a class at 26th Avenue in New York, a young lady asked him, he was describing in his class why it's not good. Of course, we all know that. Why it's not good to take LSD, drugs. So this girl is saying, how do you know? She asked Prabhupada, have you taken drugs before, Swamiji? And Prabhupada says, no. And she says, if you don't take drugs, how do you know that it's bad for you? And what does Prabhupada ask her? Prabhupada asked her, have you taken poison? She says, no. And he asks, why not? And she says, it will kill you. He says, but if you haven't taken poison, how do you know that it will kill you? Because we get the information that poison will kill us from the right source. So in that same mood, Srila Prabhupada has brought whatever and everything that he has brought from India, from his spiritual master to the West, saying, you want to see God, you want to find God, you want to know God, is right here. So that is the Krishna conscious movement. That is our program. Our program is not cheap. Prabhupada says that, Krishna consciousness is really, really not cheap. And it's not a part-time job. It's not secondary life. It's not even something that we do free. Just as much as we call ourselves employees for our employers, to that same degree or even more, we are also supposed to live the Krishna conscious life as it is our life. It's not a part-time or side job. So Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is very, very, very expensive. It's so expensive that there's no price on it. So it's not cheap. And Prabhupada says, if you want to see God, no problem. You can see him face to face. But he says, we have to follow the rules and regulations. We must chant. And we must be purified. We must purify ourselves. Why do you think, and again, I would like to make this as interactive, because I don't want anyone to nod off. And I hope that we are all taking notes. Why do you think Srila Prabhupada is saying that we must purify ourselves to see God? Any answers?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I remember listening, actually seeing it in a drama that was explaining that God is nothing, or is nobody who is cheap. You have to be, one has to be qualified to see God. And in order to be qualified, you have to be purified. You can't see him with naked eye, with ignorance, or any of the other conditionings that we have. So purification is required.
Very good answer. That's right, Vishaka. We have to be qualified. And in order to be qualified, we have to be purified. If we look at the lives of the gopis, now the gopis are not there Krishna and serving Radha Krishna by default. Nor are they there because they just happen to be there, like dropped from the tree. No. The gopis, every associate of the Lord, are qualified. Why? Because they have been purified. And why they have been purified? Because they have been chanting and meditating only on the Lord's holy name and nothing else. And why? Because they follow the rules and regulations. So it's very important that we have to understand, Srila Prabhupada says, if we want to know Krishna, if we want to see Krishna, we have to follow the rules and regulations, number one. Number two, we have to chant, followed by we must purify ourselves. Now that's a number 4 here. And he says, we must wait. Why does Prabhupada say that we must wait? Any answers? I like to sing the Jeopardy music when I hear silence. Why
Yeah,
do you
Mataji,
think? Yes,
so,
Prabhu, go ahead.
yeah, we should have patience because, like you said, the Vrinda Vishaka said, we have to get pure. So
Yes,
we have to be patient. It will just not happen overnight.
exactly. Purification doesn't happen overnight. If we think all of us who are women who have gone through pregnancy and childbirth, and we have 2 doctors online, so I'm sure that they all can testify to it. Pregnancy is not an overnight thing. It's 9 months, a lot of patience. And the delivery is even more patience. You don't know what to expect. So we have living examples to teach us why it's important to wait. And Prabhupada says, the time will come. Just wait until you, while you're waiting, you continue to follow the rules, chant and purify yourself, and you wait. And when we are purified, we will see God. Prabhupada said it very clearly. And when we are purified, we will see God. But he said, but not that fast. You have to wait, not that fast. But what is so nice is in our Krishna conscious movement, we are so fortunate that we have the Acha Vigraha form of the Lord in the temple. We cannot see it with our naked eyes, but then again, the Lord is so kind that we can still see him. So Krishna is still showing us mercy here. So with in his Acha Vigraha form in the temple, we are seeing the Lord. Prabhupada says that in order to know who God is, we have to follow the process. In order to get through high school, we have to finish how many years of school, Bhavya?
12 years.
12 years, right? 12 years. Sometimes when we're in school, we think 12 years is so long, like 12 yugas. And once we finish high school, then okay, I'm done. 4 more years of bachelor's. Okay, I'm done. Then 1.5 years of master's degree. Okay, now I can go find a job. But life is not that cheap, because once we start working, we go through more problems. So it never ends. So that is the whole idea, that we have to understand that in order to get the knowledge of Krishna, it is not cheap, but it is definitely most worthy than anything in this world. We just have to stick with the process. If we can go to verse 20 there, Krishna, before we go to the next verse, are there any questions or comments?
Yeah, Mataji, you would like to take questions now or in the end? So because I have couple. So.
We can, well, I don't mind doing either. What would you suggest, Prabhu?
No, either way is fine. So I just didn't want to disturb your flow. So.
I think that we can take one or two, because I'm just hoping that, you know, devotees are, making notes or something. If there are any questions, then
Sure.
Then we can.
So if any,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now. So I have one question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like you said, like why do we go to a spiritual program, or why do we go to Bhakti Yoga? And to very, very nicely, sometimes we forget that objective. So my question is how, so first of all, like what's the need of going to somebody or hearing from somebody else? But in today's world, we see a lot of this, I was checking with Bhavya, what is the abbreviation for that? DIY approach, right? Do it yourself approach. So what are the dangers of do it yourself or DIY approach?
Very nice. I know that took me a while to actually understand that the DIY. The Prabhupada says the do it yourself makes you think that you are God. Do it yourself makes you think that you are the controller. Do it yourself thinks that you got everything figured out. See, sometimes we think that the DIY, do it yourself, is something that people use to do things on their own. Like do it yourself pancakes, do it yourself book, build a shelf or whatever. Because why? You have control of how you want the product to be. So for example, they have something called do it yourself mask, like with this whole country is short of mask. So they have a lot of videos out there of do it yourself mask. And why do they have that? Is because one is that's a short of mask in the stores, and two is people can make it according to how they want. So the end product is within their control. The end result is within their control, and they can make it to be blue, green, yellow. They have control of how they want the end product to be. So in that same way, Prabhu, do it yourself in Krishna consciousness makes us will make us to think, I got it figured out. I know how much how much knowledge I want. I don't want to hear that part because it's not for me. It's not relevant to me. We start dictating how we want things to be according to our needs, because we want the results in a certain way, because that's how we want it. So we become the controllers. So it's very, very dangerous, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says very, very dangerous. Once someone thinks that they are in control and they have a control of how they want things to be, those are the ones that will be the first one to fall flat on their faces, sadly. So it's very important that we do not, goes back to what Prabhupada says. Krishna consciousness is not cheap. It is not nonsense. It is not DIY. It is surrendering oneself to the higher authority. If you look at the country, Governor Wolf is calling the shots. Can we go out with no mask and no gloves? Can we avoid doing social distancing? No, we cannot, because why? We are at the mercy of Governor Wolf's instructions and orders. In that same way, if we want to follow the rules and if we want to know Krishna, we have to follow the rules and regulations. That is not DIY. That is completely following the rules from the ruler. Again, Governor Wolf is giving the rules, stay-at-home orders, social distancing, mask and gloves. We are following it. We have to follow the rules. In that same way, if we want to follow Krishna, we have, if you want to know the Lord, we have to follow the rules and regulations. Only then can we get the mercy. Like in Maryland, if you're out after 8 p.m., they fine you. Same thing. If we do not follow the rules and regulations by the Lord, then we go in Maya. So did I answer your question, Prabhu?
Oh, absolutely, very detailed. I got it.
Thank you.
One more question, Mataji. Is like, but sometimes maybe people are following that approach because one of the scenario could be they are not sure about the source to whom to hear from. So how can we ensure that if we are going to spiritually, especially in this case of spiritual knowledge, that the source is right?
Prabhupada says Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. The 3 check and balance to know whether what we are going to for is right or wrong is we look at the preacher and we look at the Shastra and we look at the sadhus. That is why Prabhupada says we preach by example. Preaching by example is so important. If you look at our sannyasis in ISKCON, you cannot not they follow what Prabhupada says completely. So in order for us to know whether that spiritual organization is right or wrong, we have to see, okay, let me see what does their doctrine, what does their philosophy say? And then you compare it to, let me see the guru that brought this, who is none other than Srila Prabhupada. Is it syncing? Is it in line? Then let me see how he did it and his devotees, the sadhus, are they all following the spiritual master or the founder acharya? If it's all in sync, that is a true organization. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. These are the 3 check and balance for any spiritual organization. Did I answer your question?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, verse 20, and I will read the Sanskrit, and I'll have someone else read the translation. Yaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripto nirashrayah karmanya bi pravritto pi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Anil uncle, do you mind reading the purport, uncle?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Thank you.
This freedom from bondage of action is possible only in Krishna consciousness, when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in the possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything, This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of Vikrama as explained herein before.
Thank you, Uncle. I believe Padmanath Prabhu, when he gave class the last time, he spoke about karma, vikarma, and akarma.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's do a little quiz. If someone can tell me what is karma, let's see how many were alert in his class and taking notes. I don't want to ask the kids because I know the kids take good notes, all the youth. So youth, I have to skip you all. So please don't answer because I know the youth take good notes. So let's ask the adults. And I'm not going to ask Dirkshan Prabhu because I know I'm going to bypass him too. If anyone else can tell me what did you understand from karma from Padmanath Prabhu's class?
Karma is easy. Karma are actions, our actions.
Yes. So if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad reaction. Karma is very easy. Is akarma? Anyone else? If you make a mistake, it's okay. This is not a pass or fail. But we all learn by making mistakes. I learned by making mistakes. So that's how we learn. Are there anyone that want to take a shot of what does akarma means?
Karma means you don't want any fruits, or you don't want any reaction towards the
action. Yes.
Yeah,
So
your action. Yes.
Yes. So akarma literally means whatever you do it without wanting anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
A good example of akarma is devotional service. That's it. Akarma actually literally means devotional service. Yes, we do service to please the Lord, but we don't want, oh, if I cook the feast, please give me $100 tomorrow in my bank, or, something like that. No, akarma means we do service from our heart and we don't expect anything back. Akarma is that. What is vikarma? Any other adults? I've asked, Anil uncle answered, Smita Mataji answered, and I see a few other adults. Anyone else know what does vikarma mean?
Anything which is sinful activities is the vikarma.
Yes, vikarma. Yeah, so vikarma is we do actions because it's just whimsical, just like that, and because we are misusing our freedom. Of course, we get reaction for that. But vikarma means, that one who misuses its freedom literally means one who lives an animal life. That's what vikarma is. Vikarma means, because if you look at the animal life, they have no rules and regulation. They just kill when they want to kill, they'll eat when they want to eat, they sleep when they want to sleep, they take a bath when they want to take a bath. They don't have rules and regulation. They just do anything based on an animal life. That is vikarma. So and we, in this world, there are a lot of people who live a life of an animal. And that is vikarma. So so it's not how should I say it? It is not like you have to know what these terms mean. It's not like going to school, but it's important to know the philosophy behind the term so we understand what it means. So Prabhupada here is basically saying in verse 20, do your duty, but don't expect any results. Simple. If we think of an employer, actually, you know what, a good example is a bank teller at a bank. They deal with thousands of dollars every single day. I don't know if many of you know this, but every bank teller in most banks, the minimum money they have in a drawer is about $10,000. Is it their money? It is not their money. It's the bank's money, but they deal with a lot of money transaction, and they have to withdraw, cash out, withdraw, deposits, and so on and so forth. But they are doing that doesn't make them feel, they're not thinking, oh, all this money in my drawer is mine. I'm working for the bank, so it's all mine. No, they are working to get a simple $10 salary, which is not even equal to the money in their drawer every single day. So they are working not to get the money from the drawer. They're just working because they just have to get their needs met. So what Prabhupada is saying is, when you work, don't be attached to the results of the activities. Like I've been hearing on the news in the past couple of weeks, Donald Trump said that every single US citizen or every citizen or whatever in the country is going to get the, what's that money that is, what you call that? The one that comes, they said that each householder was going to get $1,200 or something or whatever. Stimulus. Thank you very much, Subha. And many people didn't get it. Now, do you know how many of them are so upset because they didn't get it? First of all, they didn't earn it. That, literally, they didn't earn that money. It's like Trump is just giving a chocolate to us. He's giving a candy, and we're not getting the candy, and people are going crazy. How insane is that? We did not earn the $1,200. He's just giving it to us. Why? Because of the pandemic, just to help people who are going through tough times. We didn't earn it. So why are they fussing over that? It's literally like a father giving candy to a child because the child, just because the father loves the child. That's it. It's not like that the child got A's or B's, just like that. So again, we are attached to the results. And those people who did not get the stimulus, they are so attached. They are so angry and so frustrated that they are going mentally berserk. Why? Because they're attached. So if we want to free ourselves from the bondage of the actions, it's only possible by Krishna consciousness. That's it. Just do your duty. Do not be attached to the results. That's very simple. In these few lines that Prabhupada said, he just said, just do your duty and do it to the best of your ability. Leave everything to Krishna. Very simple. Sometimes we have, this thought just came to my mind, like before I got married, I think before I even came to America, every father, or probably every Indian father, I don't know, but my father's Indian, so he had my whole life planned out, a blueprint, literally. You finish college you finish high school when you're 17, you finish college time, +4 when you're 21, you work for a few years. At the time, he wanted me to be a medical doctor. I said, no, we had a fight. I said, fine, whatever. I didn't make it, obviously. And he said, okay, by the time you're 32, you get married. He had my whole blueprint planned out. And of course, I didn't follow it because he was attached to the results of his blueprint. And his daughter did not follow his blueprint, and I blooped and I ruined it for him, and he was very angry. And because for that, my father was so affected by that he had a stroke. My father literally had a stroke. He was in the hospital for a few days. That shows how much attachment to results can affect our physical health. And I saw my dad lying on the bed with one of his paralyzed because I broke his blueprint. I didn't follow his attachment to his plan. So it's very real. These are when Prabhupada writes these things, please don't think it's just theology. Please don't think it's just philosophy. It's a storybook. It's real. Many people have actually experienced what Prabhupada is saying. So he's basically saying, do your duty, don't be attached, leave it everything to Krishna. Bas, very simple. Before we go to the next and last verse, are there any questions? Because this ties in very much to the next verse.
Just a comment, Mataji. I don't know if anybody else
Please.
has any question, but that example of teller, the bank, that's very, very nice, because I just got the realization that the reason we know why he is not attached to the money, because it is not his money. But even more importantly, we can understand that because he has that knowledge. Like we were talking about why we go to somebody to get the knowledge. So because that training has been given to him, that it's not your money, how you are going to handle it, all that training has been given to him. And that's why he's very sure in his heart and mind also that it's not mine. And that's why he's absolutely not attached. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I know it's a small realization, but I just want to share.
No, it's a very good realization, because you are absolutely right, because the bank teller is aware and she has the knowledge, it's not my money, and if I take it, I'll be put to jail. She knows the knowledge. So you're right, she's aware, she knows the knowledge. So in that same way, we know the knowledge. We don't know anything. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That's a very nice link that you had to the next level up. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions before we go to the next and the last verse?
Hare Krishna, this is Vrinda.
Yes, Vrinda, go ahead.
You said at the end where Sri Prabhupada said that everything is real, it's not a story. I think there's
Vrinda, I lost you because you paused. Can you repeat the point? Vrinda?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. At the end, you said that what Sri Prabhupada says, it's all real, it's not a story. So
I heard you saying it's all real and not story. Now, next sentence.
So yeah, I think Vrinda, you're having some connection issue. Do you want to type? I think chat should work.
Yeah, do you want to type your question, Vrinda? Then I can see it.
And all of us can also send question by chat also, in case you don't want to speak up. That is also fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can try again. I think I just heard your voice.
Yeah, Vrinda, do you want to repeat, because now you're clear?
Okay, so at the end you said that Sri Prabhupada says that what he says, it's real, it's not a storybook. So some people may think that it is a storybook. So how can we help them to see or understand that it's not a storybook?
Very, very nice question. Vrinda always asks the tough ones sometimes. Good question, Vrinda. Prabhupada always said that, and many gurus say that Krishna consciousness is scientific. It's not sentimentalism. So what we have to do is we have to approach Krishna consciousness in a mood of understanding the cause and effect. Not like reading it like we're reading the Mahabharata or the Ramayana or the Panchatatantra or something like that. We have to approach it by the cause and reaction. If I do this, this was going to happen. And if we read the Bhagavad Gita, in every single verse, translation and purport, Prabhupada is always explaining, if you do this, this happens. If you don't do this, this happens. It's in all his verses. So once we understand that it's cause and effect, we'll begin to realize that it's not a storybook. That's what Prabhupada says. The first book that anyone should read is not the Krishna book. The first one should be Prabhupada's little books, and next is Bhagavad Gita. In fact, he says Krishna book should be read way later, like Way, because why? Our minds are not trained enough to understand the seriousness of the Krishna consciousness philosophy. Because what will happen is once we read the Krishna books and other books, then we'll think all of them are storybooks. And there are some that think that Krishna book as a fairy tale, like Cinderella, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, stuff like that. And it's not, because it involves Radha and Krishna and the gopis. Oh, this is another, probably I'm trying to think of a cartoon that, well, I don't know, because whatever. But we think that it's a TV serial, and it's not. But that's why we have to follow from the basics. Start reading Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Chant and Be Happy, Science of Self-Realization. I think it's a wonderful, it's so nice that all of you are really learning the science of self-realization. It's because that is the basis right before the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important to understand it. That way, then we know everything is a science. And if you see, Prabhupada called it the science of self-realization. The word is science. It's not theology, it's not philosophy, it's not story, it's a science. Very key word. Have I answered your question, Vrinda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the last verse, and this is a little bit more thought-provoking. So I'll read the Sanskrit and the translation, and we'll have someone read the purport. Nirashiryata chetatma tyakta sarva sariram kevalam karma kurvanapnoti kilbisham. Translation: such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Let me see. Anita Mataji, can you read the purport, please?
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you.
A Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He knows that because he is part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is only being done through him by the Supreme. When the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always devoted with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine, parts require oiling and cleaning for maintenance. So a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions.
Thank you, Anita Mataji. So this is a very powerful verse, and it links very much clearly to the previous verse where Prabhupada says, do your duty to the best and leave everything to Krishna. Now here Prabhupada is saying is, there's two key words in the translation. Can any one of you tell me what are the two key words that Prabhupada is mentioning in the translation of this verse?
One is proprietorship.
Okay. Good one.
Control.
Say again?
Control.
Control. Okay. I'm looking for two more words.
Like he's a part and parcel of the Supreme.
Okay.
And another one is dovetailed. Krishna conscious person dovetailed.
Okay. And not in the purport, in the translation.
Oh, in the translation.
In the translation. Very key, the key word. It's you won't even think that is an important two words, but it is really important.
Understanding?
No.
Mind and intelligence?
Not quite. Let me give the answer.
Simple
Bare
reaction.
necessities of
Bare
life.
necessities. Oh.
Oh, bare necessities.
Necessity of life.
Why is Prabhupada saying bare necessities of life? Why do you think Prabhupada is mentioning the word bare necessities of life? Because as human nature, we do not understand the term bare necessities of life. Prabhupada, if we were to look at Isopanishad, another powerful book that Prabhupada wrote, the first mantra, Prabhupada says very clearly, bare necessities equals to kota. Kota means what?
Is it because once you go beyond the bare necessities, like you become greedy, and because of that constant greed makes you do more offenses?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You just gave the rest of my class. You made it so easy on me, Anita Mataji. Thank you. Because when we go above, when we have more than the bare necessities of life, we become more greedy. And when we become more greedy, we become even more greedy. And the greed doesn't stop. And when that happens, then we start offending, we start making sinful, we start doing sinful actions. That is why Prabhupada says bare necessities equals to kota. What is the kota? So let's look. So Prabhupada uses two good examples. One example is the cow, right? We all know that the cow eats grass. Why does the cow eat grass?
It's a necessity for him.
To produce milk. The cow eats grass, and the grass is the only kind of food that the cow eats. He eats nothing else. Imagine we can eat rice, dal, paneer, Chinese, Italian, pasta, lasagna. We have so many options. The cow only eats grass, only one option. But the cow it's only grass. But look how much milk the cow produces. Now, when the cow produces the milk, the cow will feed the calf the milk, and the rest is what? The rest of the milk is used for human beings to consume. Now, does the cow say, no, 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 even the excess I have to keep and feed my calf? No, the cow shares it. In that same way, the cow has given the bare necessities to his baby calf, to her baby calf, and the rest, give it to others. So that is and another example Prabhupada says is a laborer. A laborer uses the materials to build a house. But does he own the materials? He does not. He has to go buy it. So he'll only buy what he needs. If he wants to build a 2x4 room, he's only going to buy wood enough to build a 2x4 feet room. He's not going to buy wood that is 3 times more the amount when it's too much for a 2 feet by 4 feet room. In that same way, Prabhupada is saying it's very important that we know and we ask ourselves, am I living to the bare necessities of life? Because Prabhupada says here, if we do not live by the bare necessities of life, meaning our quota, if we do not live according to our quota, we start thinking, I am the proprietor of this, I am the proprietor of that, I own this, I am the Lord, I am this. We start being the controllers. And then the greed comes. When the greed comes, it's very hard to stop the greed. Very nice example, I'll tell you. We all have had ice cream. We've had gulab jamuns. Has anyone eaten one gulab jamun and not go back for a second?
Not me.
Because why? It's tasty. So we go back, have a second one. We go have a third one. The greed, we go have a fourth one. Even though the stomach is full, but the eyes and the tongue, if any of you know the prasadam prayers, I would like all of you tonight before you go to bed, read the prasadam prayers in English. Read it in English. There is one line where it says in the prayer to control the senses of the tongue. Even though the stomach is full and we cannot eat more, but the tongue is saying, no, I want more gulab jamun. I'm greedy. And we keep stuffing until next morning we feel like, oh my God, I ate so much last night. I couldn't even control my greed because we did not stick to our quota. When we go beyond our quota, we become controllers. And we think, I own this, I own this, I own this, everything is controlled by me. I decide what happens. So Prabhupada says it is very important that we know our quota. And Prabhupada also says, anything that blocks spiritual advancement means we are going beyond our quota. So if we try to assess ourselves and ask ourselves, if something in our lives is blocking our, thank you, Prabhu. So I want to look for that. Yes. Oh Lord, this material body is a place of ignorance and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Powerful, really powerful. Somehow we have fallen into this ocean of material sense enjoyment, and of all the senses, the tongue is most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. Why? Because the tongue has no bones. The tongue is the worst enemy. The tongue is the worst enemy.
Mataji, but with tongue, it means just not the taste, right? Even the propensity or the urge to speak, right?
Yes.
Speech. Okay.
Anything that we use to move the mouth. See, as soon as we move the mouth, the tongue moves. So the tongue moves when we are eating, when we are shouting, when we are yelling, when we are offending, when we are speaking, when we are talking, everything. Anything that we use the mouth, the tongue is part of it. It's very difficult to conquer. In fact, in the early days of Krishna consciousness, at least when I joined in the early 90s, we used to recite the prasadam prayers in English, never in Sanskrit. The reason being is when we would recite the prasadam prayers in English, it was such a powerful reminder to us, especially for those who know the English language. Once you say the prayer in English, half of your is gone. You don't feel like eating much. You're like, oh my God, I have to control my tongue, my senses. It really plays on the mind. That is the reason why it's very important that whenever we read or sing any mantra or prayer or bhajan, read the English. Very, very important. So here Prabhupada is saying the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. Very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. So again, if we do not keep if we do not stick to our quota, it's very hard to advance spiritually. Very hard. And just as what Anita Mataji just shared with us wonderfully in a very nice summary, is if we go beyond the bare necessities, we become greedy. And when we become greedy, we start to commit sinful actions. And one of it is we become the controllers. So it's very important that we learn in this verse 21, Prabhupada is saying to understand the principle of completeness. And who is complete? Krishna. Krishna is the controller. He owns anything. He owns everything. He can move things. He can do whatever he wants. That he is the principle of completeness. And at the same time, he's teaching us detachment. Live according to your quota. Now, one may ask, once we realize that Krishna is the owner, what should that make us? Like what will be the effects of that? Like once I know, you know what, Krishna is the control and he owns everything. How should that affect me?
I think it makes you more humble.
Absolutely. Second Jeopardy. She got 2 in a row. Anita Mataji, you're amazing. You're rocking today. Amazing. Yes, it makes you become humble because you know, I don't own anything, nothing. Everything is owned by the Lord and he is the controller. It makes you become humble. Number one, absolutely. What is the second thing that it makes you become? Any other thoughts?
Surrendered.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Good job, Surit. Become surrendered. Absolutely. Number one, it makes us become humble. Second is it makes us become more surrendered. Thirdly is once we become humble and we just become surrendered, what do you think will happen to us naturally after that? We accept whatever the Lord has planned for us. We don't fight it. Fine. Accept the Lord's plan as it is with no anger. Whatever the Lord wants. No anger. That is why it is very important to live according to our quota. And one assignment that I would like all of us to take a couple of minutes. Before I give the assignment, I want to share something else. Another point of quota, aside from living the bare necessities of life, Prabhupada says our quota is also to do devotional service. That is within our quota. Every human being has the right to do devotional service. So it's very important that we understand that we have to live according to the quota. And if we go above or out of the quota, greed starts developing. Nowadays, we see many young people, Samsung, I don't know what Samsung is there right now, but I'm just going to say 7 because I don't know what is the new one. As soon as the new one comes out, they got to get the next one. Even though that hasn't died, they'll get the next one. Why? Greed. The greed for the high-tech stuff. The greed for, oh, but I have to be like them, you know, the greed for this, the greed for that. There are many people out there, and this might surprise some of you, that there are some people out there who, women, you know, and there's one, you know, where if they don't have more than 20 pairs of shoes, they feel like they are beggars. I know was 70 pairs, 70 pairs of shoes. And I'm thinking to myself, it's too many choices. Just give me one black, one white, I'm happy. 2 pairs. I'm very, very happy. Why? Greed. Greed makes us become controllers. And we forget that we came naked without one penny. And when we die, we're going to go with nothing. And between that short time that we have on this earth, we want to be Bhagwan. We want to own everything, not knowing whether we'll die tomorrow. Like I just heard from one of my devotee friends, 2 Bollywood actors died back to back. One was, what's his name? My God, something Khan. One died one day, next one died
Irfan Khan. Rishi
Irfan
Kapoor.
Khan. Next one was Rishi Kapoor. Bang. Did anyone expect it? Nobody expected it. Literally nobody expected it. Just, boom, boom. Side, but just, and he left with nothing. He came with nothing. He left with nothing. That shows how short life is. But within that life, we want to be owners, and we want to own this, we want to own that. So I really, really ask devotees, take some time today and ask yourselves, what is blocking me from growing spiritually? And literally write down. I always encourage devotees to write it, not put it in your head. The reason being is, when you write things, it's more visible. When it's in your head, it's going to go. Did I pause? I cut off. I'm sorry, Vrinda. So let me repeat again. I would request, and I always like to do this, when you ask yourselves questions, write the answers in a paper. Have your own journal, your very own daily journal. Because when you tell it in your mind, next morning when you wake up, whatever you thought that the night before, you have forgotten everything. Everything is like gone, F9, F7, whatever you want to, it's like exit, done. Write it down. Why? What is hindering me from growing spiritually? Am I living within my quota? Am I living by the bare necessities of life? And Prabhupada is not saying here that we have to live like beggars. He's not saying that we have to have only like 1-2 saris or 1-2 dhotis. He's not saying that. When he says bare necessities of life, he's saying to simplify our lives. So we have to ask ourselves, my life simple? If it's not, why? Why do I need this? Why do I have to have so many shoes? Why do I have to have the next Samsung when my current one did not die like perfectly fine? Why do I have to have this else? Because what happens is that we spend so much energy and time trying to meet up with this friend, this what do you call that, this dignity or this status and whatever, when we can use that same time to preach Krishna consciousness. It's very important that we really ask ourselves, what are the bare necessities of my life? Am I living according to my quota? What is blocking me from taking the next step forward? What is hindering me from growing spiritually? What is the stumbling block? That is why we come here every Fridays, to learn about this. We're not coming just to chit chat, just hear, and then we have prasadam and we go home. No, each class we come, we have to take something, go home, meditate, and improve on it. That's why we come on Fridays. Very important. So this is meditating on it, and really be honest with yourselves. It's just you and the Lord. It's this exercise is between you and Krishna. Be very honest and tell, Krishna, this is what's blocking me. This, and it can be something, and it's mostly something material and something with the mind. It's always the mind and something material. All that's just how it is, because the mind is, proper as a rascal. So, I have this issue, it's my mind, or it's my ego, or whatever, it's blocking me from growing spiritually. Please help me. How do I remove it? Or say we are attached to something material. and it's not within my quota. Krishna is blocking me. Please remove it. I want to simplify my life. Be very honest. Because if we have to ask ourselves, do I want to grow spiritually? And if we want to advance spiritually, then Krishna, help me simplify my life and live within my quota. Only then can we follow what Prabhupada says here in chapter 4, verse 21. Hare Krishna. I think I've spoken quite a bit. And if there are any questions and comments, please do share.
So, Mataji, wonderful, wonderful points. I think each and every word, sentence you spoke was practical. One thing I wanted to get little clarification on, like Anita Mataji also answered a question by saying offensive, like how offensive and greed. So I'm trying to understand that when we are out of our quota, when we try to get out of our quota or more than what is in our quota, then greed will lead to offenses. So I was trying to understand, is it true that it will probably in two ways? Like one way could be, okay, I want to now, I have greed, so I want to achieve at any cost. So that will automatically, I'm trying to become a controller and will make offenses. Second way could be, now I cannot achieve it, so it may lead to criticism also, right?
Yes.
Tendency to criticize, is that correct understanding
Yes.
for the offenses?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what happens is once we become the controllers, we want everyone to worship us. And we want everyone to listen to us. We want everyone to know, oh, I know this. And that's offenses. And criticism is, yes, criticism goes hand in hand with being the controller. Because if you think about it, Prabhu, there isn't any controller in this world who does not criticize. They all criticize. If they're not a devotee, they will criticize. And there are some who are, spiritualists and they still criticize. But yes, greed is because greed is not only material, but it's also greed for fame, greed for adoration, greed for being the center of attraction, greed for being the wow, look at this person, or look at I know all this. That's a greed. That's a greed. And if we don't get it, what happens? We criticize. We make offenses. So there are many layers with
Hare Krishna.
Am I still there?
I think, yeah, we lost your voice for maybe 10 seconds. So if you can repeat the last part.
Oh, Krishna. Okay. Yes, sure. So what I was saying is the spiritual master of Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj.
Garkishore Maharaj. Oh,
am I back on now?
Now you're back.
Okay. Gorkishore Das Babaji's life was very simple. He lived the bare necessities of life. He didn't ask for fame. He didn't criticize. No adoration. He didn't want a disciple. He just wanted to just chant the holy name. He didn't want a disciple at all. So yes, Prabhu, very good point. Greed can be two ways. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
So, Mataji, another important point, because we all are practicing spirituality for so many years. So how can we understand or practice it in our spiritual life, whatever way we are practicing? Because we understand like greed is not good, criticizing is not good. So how can we take it from the materialistic people? That is one category. But the fact that we all come together every week together and discuss these subjects, and we chant and perform devotional service in whatever capacity we can, how can I as a practicing devotee, not quite yet devotee, but as a practicing devotee, how can I take it, or what changes should I make in my life?
First thing is we have to be real with ourselves to know I have this fault. I have this weakness. Many of us don't even want to admit that we have a fault. We have to accept that, you know, I have this attachment. I have this weakness. I have this problem. I have this issue, and I want to be free from it. And once we make a very strong decision that I have this issue and I want to be freed from it, and we find the help, we practice what we learn, apply it. That's why I was saying earlier on, this Friday program is not a place just to just come and hang out and socialize and chant and go back. No, we have to see ourselves growing every single week. In the early days of my Krishna consciousness, Master used to travel around the world quite a bit. And every time he would travel, when he comes back, and his base was in Gitanagari, this was in the early 90s, before he would leave, he would tell us, all the disciples, when I come back, you guys better be changed and you better be up, not down. And when he comes back after 4 or 5 months, he will tell us, some of you haven't changed. Why are you so lazy? So, and another point is because we are lazy. Why are we lazy? Because we don't want to face that this is who I am. It's very, every morning when we brush our teeth, when we comb our hair, we look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, what do I want to be? What weakness do I have? What issues do I have? What is my attachment? Let me pray about it. And if we want to advance spiritually, that's when we ask such questions. Because every one of us have an issue. None of us are pure. But we have to be real that I want to grow. And I have this issue and I want help. Once we say that, we have done 50% of the work. 50%. But we have to ask ourselves, I want to grow and I have this issue and I want to get the help. Once you do this 3, everything else, Prabhu, is very easy. The first step is accepting that I have this issue. I want to grow. That's the biggest hurdle. Have I answered your question, Prabhu? I hope.
Yes, absolutely, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Anyone
other
else?
questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Any other questions? I would really humbly ask everybody to please, this weekend, again, we are all home. We are all in our comfort of our homes. We are all self-quarantined, social distancing to the max. This is an excellent time to really ask ourselves, like I said, write it in a notebook. Do I want to grow spiritually? Yes. And are our issues? What is it that's blocking me? And list them, and don't be ashamed. Write it down, because sometimes we don't know what we have within us. Write it down and ask ourselves, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have this issue, and go to someone. You have devotees like Dir Krishna Prabhu there and Tungavidya Mataji, and tell them, Mataji, I have this issue and I need help. Please help me. And then you'll get the help, and then you apply it, and you will see yourself really feeling so good. It's really important that we take the time to write down, what is blocking me? Am I living within the bare necessities or not? Simple living, higher thinking is what's going to make Krishna consciousness very, very sweet. The more we don't follow our quota and we get, bogged down by too much attachments, it's very hard to go Krishna consciously, very, very difficult. Any other questions? I can ask questions too. If everybody's willing to answer my question, if all of you can go on mute, since no one's going to ask, so I'll ask a question. If everyone can go on mute and write down one block in your life that you feel is blocking, that you feel is not helping you grow spiritually, just one thing, and just share it. Are we comfortable to share it? And if we are not comfortable to share it, then that is something that we work on. Because for a family that has been coming around together for 7-8 years, we should be very open to sharing what are our blocks. We should be very, very open. That is family. Family means we share our weaknesses and we share our strengths. That's family. So Berks Bhakti Yoga has a very nice family, and I would definitely humbly request all of us to get on the mood of being very open to share what our strengths and what our weaknesses and get the help we need. Nobody's comfortable. Okay, that's fine. No problem.
I can share one at least.
Please, Prabhu.
I think probably the usage of the smartphone.
Yes, that is my weakness too. Actually, mine is the laptop more than the phone, I think. And now I got 2 on my desk. Oh my God, because of work purpose. Yes, that is mine too. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Anyone else wants to share what is their weakness?
Mataji, I think time, sometimes not having enough time to,
yes,
Bhagavad Gita or whatever we want to read. It just, it's hard to find enough time.
So you mean like time management?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Time management. Yes, that is definitely a challenge for women, I think, because we do a lot of, household stuff. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And it's good. You know what, Prabhu, as they are sharing their weaknesses, make a note and we can tackle it.
Okay.
Seriously.
Now everybody will stop. Whoever wanted to do, they will stop too.
No,
so
because
Mataji,
yes.
So Mataji, so how are we gonna give more time? Now we are in quarantine, so how are we gonna get more time?
You know what? We can give a time management course.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm telling you that there are answers. Yes. The answers. How did Prabhupada write so many books at the age of 70 for 12 years? How did he do it?
So Mataji, we like plan our days like that. What we are doing, we are getting time, but we are cooking much. I want this, I want that, right?
Yeah. No, I can completely, relate. That's the right word. Relate to what you're saying, Tungavati, because time is definitely an issue for many of us. For me too. And time is an issue because we just got a big task from my office, and I've been working like till 10 p.m. every night. So yes, I can imagine time is definitely a concern. It's just we have to learn how to manage time properly, like really, and that is a whole course in itself.
And the other thing is,
yes,
other thing is retention. Like, okay, we have read that one time, then it is gone. Then we have to keep repeating that thing.
Yes. You know what, Tungavidya, you gave me a very good thing to share. Thank you for bringing up Tungavidya. I have a god sister. She's my senior god sister. Her name is Achyuta Devidasi. She's actually in Idaho. When I visited her home many years ago, and I had to use her bathroom in her bedroom, in her master bedroom, I saw notes on her dresser mirror. Not one note, not two notes, 10 notes around alongside her dresser mirror and in her bathroom mirror. And you know what they were? They were verses from the scriptures that really stuck out to her, and she would put it on her mirror as affirmations for her spiritual life. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's excellent idea.
I said, this is amazing. Yes. So she would put notes on her wall. So every time she sees it, she says, thank you, Krishna, affirmation. That's what she would do.
That's true.
So there
Yeah, I
are
know.
ways.
So true. And this will come up when we talk openly, right? Like, as you say, like, so that's why the purpose is like we should openly talk.
Yep.
Like,
we
this
have
is my
to.
hindrance. This is my hindrance. Here I'm blocking. Like, this is, I'm trying, but I'm not able to do it. So what should we do?
See, and you made a very good point, Tungavidya, is that, you know, and I completely appreciate what you're saying is, if around, what, Prabhu, 7, 8 years, Prabhu, now? Daksha Prabhu, 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah,
For
this
Berks
is the
Bhakti
8th.
Yoga?
Yeah, 8th year.
8 years, okay. So if we have been coming around for 8 years, we should know everybody's strengths and weaknesses by now. And we should be asking each other, help me with my weakness. I want to grow spiritually. And if we call ourselves family, then let's talk. We can help each other grow. But if we have been coming around for 8 years and we haven't seen much growth on ourselves, that means we are not opening up. We are a family. Open up. Share the weakness, the strengths. You know, I want to grow in this. What should I do? I want to manage my time. What should I do? I want to memorize verse. What should I do? I want to stop doing this. What should I do? Find ways. But we will only know by opening up. That's what family is about. So we are coming every Friday as a family, Berks Bhakti Yoga. We have to start living the word family. We have to start living the word, what the word means family, and to really be open. And I'm glad that Bina Mataji shared it's time management. So now we know, okay, time management, let's work on it. Let's give her some clues. You know, let's give us some hints, Bina, this is how you can manage time. Speak with her about time management, talk to her about time management, give us some tips. And she might say, I want to do this, how to fit it to take in my day. Talk and come out with some answers. It's the answers are there. It'll only come out if we talk. I think I've taken too much time, Prabhu. I'm so sorry.
No, it's wonderful. It's very useful. This is the training we all need, actually. So, yeah, but it's 9:40. If anybody has any question, any comment, please feel free to ask. It's our really good fortune that we can talk to senior devotees and learn from their experiences. That's the only way to learn. We are not in gurukuls. We are not in front of any guru, spiritual master 24/7. So whatever opportunity we get, we should ask questions and get clarified. Even later, I mean, Mataji is available. You can definitely reach out to her also. If anything you like, then you want to talk about that. So feel free to do that. If no questions, no comments, we can move to the next part. Before we move to the next part of the program, which is going to be Narsingha prayer. And again, it is going to be for everybody, for each other, for ourselves, our families back here in the home, back in India or wherever. At the same time, I just want to talk about a couple of things. One is one email I sent and communication I sent about the opportunity to serve the needy Brajvasis in India. So that's one of the devotees. He said he would like to be anonymous. So he gave a wonderful idea that as a family we can contribute a particular amount. He said, let's make a target of $1,000. But whatever we want to do, we can do it. Again, no pressure. It's just an voluntarily opportunity, and we are going to transfer the money tomorrow. So if anybody is interested, please let me know tonight. And second thing is, Bhavya, if you can just show, tomorrow we will have, sorry, on Sunday, we will have a wonderful topic to be covered in the Harrisburg session. I will request, like, if all of you, because we are anyway, we have a lot of time and things are happening virtually. So a lot of classes are there. So especially on Sundays evening, we can spend time to connect with ISKCON of Harrisburg classes. So we'll have a very senior devotee from Philadelphia. His Grace Vishnu Gada Prabhu. All of us know him, maybe not necessarily by name, but if you see the face on your screens, we all know. And he came to our program a couple of times. Our Janmashtami Radhashtami celebration also. Wonderful, wonderful devotee. Very, very direct, I would say. He will give you the direct knowledge. And so the topic is also very interesting. How to choose a guru. That's the, once we are ready, that's the start of spiritual life after years of, attending the program. So very, very good topic on Sunday, 5 p.m. And as always, I'm going to share the link on the group and the email. I'm sure you are getting the emails from ISKCON of Harrisburg also. So please do connect, just not this Sunday, every Sunday. And then we have a lot of other virtual classes also going on, Srimad Bhagavatam and other classes that I keep on sharing. So whenever you get a chance, please join them. They're really, really very nice classes. And Nursing Chaturdashi is on, I think, 3rd May? I'm forgetting. It's Wednesday, Thursday,
6th.
Thursday, whatever. 6th.
Wednesday.
6th May is going to be Nursing Chaturdashi.
Wednesday, 6th. Yeah, Wednesday, May 6th.
Sorry. Yeah, let me repeat. Wednesday, 6th May will be Nursing Chaturdashi. And we will have a wonderful, wonderful guest from maybe Mataji, you would like to say about her a little bit?
Yes, Mother Ramboru is another very senior proper disciple. She's actually a counselor and a psychologist and a preacher. She's an amazing devotee. I don't know, I highly recommend every one of you to attend the class. She'll be giving the class virtually on Nrsimha Chaturdasi at 7 p.m. She also plays a harp. She does a lot of hospice preaching. She does preaching to the to the government officials in Washington, D.C. She's based in D.C. She plays the harp as a healing for many people who are dying in hospices and hospitals and so on and so forth. And I want to share a quick story. Is there was one time many years ago, a baby was given the verdict by the doctor that she will not live, the baby will die. And that night, Mother Ramboru, knowing that the baby will die, she took her harp. She went to the baby's room and she sang the Maha Mantra to the baby, thinking that the baby will die. And the very next morning, the baby was alive, and the baby is grown up to a young teenager right now. That's how powerful she is. So I really encourage everyone to please do hear her class on Nrsimha Chaturdasi this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
No problem.
So I have one more announcement. So we would like to welcome Manasvi to our Berks Bhakti Yoga family. So last Sunday, our Puneet Prabhu got married. So we would like to welcome Manasvi to our family. So Puneet Prabhu, if you are here, can you please do the Narsingatri, both of you? Madhuri?
I'm sorry, I should have notified them ahead of time. I forgot.
You want to do Aarti? Mataji is asking, you want to do Aarti?
Yeah, Puneet Prabhu and Manasvi Mataji, if you both can do.
Come.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Puneet and Manasvi Mataji.
No worries, Prabhuji. Puneet is coming in just a second.
Thank you.
Can we see their faces by any chance, if it's possible?
Let me see. Can we do video?
Yeah.
I hope.
Is this how it works?
Yes, you can. Yes.
आपका passcode?
Oh, you have to start the video.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol, Puneet.
Hari Bol.
Welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hari Bola.
Hare Krishna.
Are we doing Aarti?
Yeah.
Was something Russian Aarti?
Yeah. We'll start. You start.
Yeah, just do whatever we did.
We just did Narshing Aarti for another call too.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
We're on another Bhakti Vriksha with Chaitanya Charan Prabhu.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes, yes. Nice.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narayana.
Kashi Purvakshaha
Kashi Purvaksha
Tilatankana Khalaye
Ito Narsingha.
Oh, muted.
Yato yato yami tato narsimho
Yato yato yami
Tato
tato
Narsimho
Bahir Narsingha Hridaye
Nishriha
Inhamadim Sharanam Prapade
Sharanam Prapade
Tava Kara Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringham Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Avakara Adbhuta Shringhana Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Narsingha Dev Jaya Narsingha Dev Narsingha Dev Jaya Narsingha Dev
Jaya Narsingha Dev Jaya Narsingha Dev Jaya Narsingha Dev Jaya Narsingha Dev
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Narahari Jaya Narahari
Jaya Narahari Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada,
Jai Jai Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo.
Tiger,
Hari Bo, Nitai Go Hari Bo.
Nitai Gaura Hari
Bol.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur Nrsimha Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Raj ki Gaur Premanande. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Hare
Pri
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Manasvi Mataji. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Welcome to the group and to the family. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wish you again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you, Anita Mataji. Thank you, Veena Mataji, for the darshan. It was nice
Thank
to
you.
see all the Thakurjis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll meet together tomorrow, same time, and we'll continue with the science of self-realization study. Hare Bol. Hare Bol.
Oh.